Welcome to Reflections for the unchurched, the underchurched, and anyone just wanting a little more church. Today we explore John's Gospel of two mountain escapes followed by two miracles. Enjoy. A reading from John's Gospel. After this, Jesus went to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, also called the Sea of Tiberias. A large crowd kept following him because they saw the signs that he was doing for the sick. Jesus went up the mountain and sat down there with his disciples. Now the Passover, the festival of the Jews, was near. When he looked up and saw a large crowd coming towards him, Jesus said to Philip, "Where are we to buy bread for these people to eat?" He said this to test him, for he himself knew what he was going to do. Philip answered him, 6-month wages would not buy enough bread for each of them to get a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, "There is a boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what are they among so many people?" Jesus said, "Make the people sit down." Now there was a great deal of grass in the place, so they sat down, about 5,000 in all. Then Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to those who were seated. So also the fish, as much as they wanted. When they were satisfied, he told his disciples, "Gather up the fragments left over so that nothing may be lost." So they gathered them up, and from the fragments of the 5 barley loaves, left by those who had eaten, they filled 12 baskets. When the people saw the sign that he had done, they began to say, "This is indeed the prophet who is to come into the world." When Jesus realized that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, he withdrew again to the mountain by himself. When evening came, his disciples went down to the lake, got into a boat, and started across the lake to Capernaum. It was now dark, and Jesus had not yet come to them. The lake became rough because a strong wind was blowing. When they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking on the lake and coming near the boat, and they were terrified. But he said to them, "It is I. Do not be afraid." Then they wanted to take him into the boat, and immediately the boat reached the land toward which they were going. Here ends the reading. In the readings of the past 2 weeks, we have learned that we need to regularly find solitude and peaceful contemplative time in order to refresh ourselves and to be with God and to make good God-based choices. Today, Jesus models this behavior by going up the mountain, first with just his disciples and later alone. In each case, he returns and performs miracles. In the first, he feeds thousands with a mere 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. In the second, he walks on water in the rough Sea of Galilee. Of all of Jesus' miracles, walking on water is the most difficult for me. His miraculous healings, transformation of water into wine, calming a turbulent sea, and feeding thousands with a few loaves of bread are miracles that I can believe. But believing that Jesus walked on water is a greater leap of faith for me. It's even hard for me to see in my mind's eye. A violent storm with wind and waves and fear is a difficult setting for me to see Jesus calmly and assuredly walking on the stormy water towards the disciples. I see in my imagination a man on the sea, and men often die in a stormy sea like that. I guess I love the man Jesus. I love that he was born and walked on earth and lived and worked and lived with his best friends to make the world a new and better place. I relate to that Jesus. But walking on water? While I don't have the miracle of physical healing in my powers, I do believe that God has given me and you gifts, that each of us have the regular opportunity to shower on friends and acquaintances if we choose to. And if we fully embrace Jesus as the Son of God, is it really that hard to believe that he walked on water? This type of extreme miracle is best believed when we are most certain that God, the supreme master, creator, and controller, is at work. This week, in the comfort of an easy chair, or even better, in your favorite place in a park or on an abandoned trail, look out and see the immense beauty in creation. See what majesty God has created with building blocks of atoms and molecules. And then contemplate that our living cells are controlled by messengers called DNA. Armed with this understanding, can we of faith come to any conclusion but that God is an amazing creator with a design for everything, and that he has the power to do anything, including walk on water? In fact, when I believe deeply in the almighty power of God, it becomes easy to believe in the miracles of Jesus. So accepting that God is all-powerful and that Jesus was his son with equal powers, then it is easy to understand that all we have to do is to believe. Amen. Please join me in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. This week I share a Broadway song that many of you might not have heard of before, as its fame grew during the pandemic. When You Believe is from the musical The Prince of Egypt. This version is sung by the West End cast. And finally, if you enjoy Reflections, please give me a thumbs up, or better yet, email me what you like and what you don't like and why at andy@stjameslancaster.org. Your input is a gift, and for me, a miracle. Enjoy and thanks.